It's Monday, April 20th. We are getting into warm weather now for sure. It's 70 degrees here. Washington is nice and sunny out. Just coming back from a walk, actually. And man, weather's really changed. So hopefully things are getting busy where you're at. We just bought a house cleaning business last week, which folks might remember from the call last week. We took over operations today. So today was our first day technically handling those operations. I thought I might share a little bit about that today, but other than that, we can just open up and talk about anything you'd like to talk about. Larry, you got anything for me today?
No, I don't think so. I had reached out to Javier a couple of days ago through email, and my ads haven't been spending the budget, which I don't know. This is my first time doing it, so I don't know if that's normal. Like some days I'm only spending like $10 and my budget's 50. So I just emailed him and made sure, hey, everything's all right. Which I can't complain about it because I'm not spending money.
It's a different kind of problem to have. I'm glad you brought this up, actually. We ended up doing a case study that kind of involved your ad account in a way. What's going on with your ad account is there's not as much demand as there is in other areas. And so every day your budget with Google is not being fully spent. So in a lot of places, if I'm in Chicago or something like that, if I spend $50 a day trying to buy carpet cleaning keywords on Google, right? I want to get in front of people buying or bidding out, typing in carpet cleaning near me, carpet cleaning Chicago, best carpet cleaners near me, that kind of stuff. You'll easily spend that $50 a day. In some parts of the country, especially if it's more rural or lower population or that kind of thing, there's not as much search volume. There are other types of ads we can run to help you spend your budget. But what happens with search a lot of times is if there's not that much demand, Google can't spend your whole $50 a day. They might spend $10 or $20 today. And Google will actually shift your budget around throughout the month. So what might happen with your account, it's still early on, right? So we're going to look at all the metrics and get back to you with what we recommend on yours specifically. But things we'll look at are, is your budget spending more on certain days of the week, certain times of the month? Is Google saving your budget and then deploying more of it on other days? Because it might spend $10 today and then spend $70 tomorrow. That can happen. So we're going to watch that closely. But the other thing that happens is there's competition. So there may be not a lot of searches, but you have several competitors who are also bidding on these ads. We can tell you who those competitors are. We can give you an idea of how much budget they're spending, if they're outspending you, if they're pushing you down in the searches, that kind of thing. Those are all factors that are going to contribute here. At the end of the day, if there's not enough people searching and we can't tap into Google searches in order to drive more customers to you, there's a couple other things we can do. There are other campaign types we can run inside of Google. There are YouTube ads, Performance Max ads, display ads. Those are an option for us and they will drive leads to you. They'll also build awareness in your area, which will actually drive people to go search on Google for your company by name. So if they keep seeing you on YouTube, if they keep seeing you on their local news website, every time they go to a blog, every time they go anywhere, they see your ads, they'll eventually search for Prime. They'll go and look for you by name and you'll see that show up in your searches. So we could spend your budget on that. There's also Facebook ads if it comes down to it. But in a lot of areas like yours, we end up being able to spend the full budget. It just might take a little bit of shifting around. We have a client in Kansas who's in the same situation. We've had to shift budget around for him to make it work. If Javier hasn't gotten back to you yet, he will, but we'll have specific recommendations on how to maximize your budget and actually get it to spend and drive people to you. Just hold tight on that. And we'll get you a specific strategy. The reason I said your ad account was kind of part of a case study that we're doing right now is we launched about 3 new ad accounts around the same time, yours and 2 others. They're all in 3 different areas. Yours and another one, they're in smaller areas. And then there was an ad account that was in a somewhat bigger area. They have 200,000 people in their city. That ad account's in California. And so we're comparing the results between these 3 ad accounts to show what happens from city to city, and to talk about how our strategy shifts based on what's going on with your particular situation. So I was just actually looking at that today. The team sent me a copy of it. We'll get yours working, no doubt. I wouldn't worry about that. But it always is tough in smaller markets because sometimes it's reality. There's just not that many people searching on Google. You might have to do something else to help drive more leads.
All right. That's what I was wanting, was more of an explanation like you just gave. Because in my mind, I don't know what's going on. I'm just here's my money and you got to do. So it's good to get an explanation of that.
Yeah, absolutely happy to help. If you have more questions on that, Javier and the team can give you more info, but we can get specific reporting about those competitors and search volume and that kind of stuff. So we'll dig a little deeper on that. What else? Anything else? Cool. I'm happy to share a little bit about what we've been up to today. Last couple of days have been a little stressful as we've taken over this house cleaning business that we bought, but it's mostly because of simple mistakes that we made along the way that are coming back to haunt us now. This might be valuable information for some of you, as if this is your first business, I hope you can maybe avoid making these mistakes the first time around. But if you're like me, you'll go on to start business after business. You might have 2 or 3, you might have 20. I don't even know how many businesses now. Since I was 19, I've been running companies. And over the years, I've made all these mistakes trying to register them properly, get taxes set up, sales tax, insurance, payroll, like all this stuff is such a pain. And then to make it worse, I've moved from state to state. So we were talking about this last week, how we're trying to get stuff set up for this new house cleaning business that we bought. We have to have an LLC. We have to have an EIN, employer identification number, so that we can actually pay payroll. So we've got all of that stuff that we're trying to get set up here. In our particular situation, we're trying to use an existing LLC and an existing EIN. That's how we're trying to set this up. We're trying to just absorb this company's assets into our LLC. The reason we're trying to do that is because we have an existing credit profile. We have an existing credit card that we can use for this business with a credit limit on it, a credit line that we can use to fund this business in the early days. So we're literally right now trying to get a new LLC set up in Wisconsin using the same information, changing the name of the business, then using that to go set up bank accounts, which we've already done, Stripe account for like merchant processing, Square account for the same thing, payroll accounts. We're running into issues with our payroll account because we've actually used this LLC and this EIN to run payroll in the past, but it's been a couple of years. We used the same LLC for our carpet cleaning business, but it's been 5-6 years since we ran payroll for that company. So we're trying to get everything set up again. And there's all these open questions about, are you back in business? Is this a new business? And some of these past decisions are coming back to haunt us. If I could start over again, if I could go back to last week, I would probably just start a new LLC and I would probably just get a new EIN. What I was trying to do was salvage my business credit profile, right? I've saved it for these last couple of years. I intended to buy another cleaning business or another kind of service business using this LLC. I had this credit card that I've been keeping open. I've been dragging this LLC along for a little while and it's not working out for me too well. It's a huge pain. So anyone who's dealt with this kind of paperwork, they understand what I'm going through. It just sucks trying to get this stuff reopened. But nonetheless, we have like realities we have to deal with right now. We have 4 employees who are out cleaning houses. They went out and cleaned a couple of houses today. I'm not sure how much we made. I didn't even look at the numbers, but they went out and cleaned some houses today. We have to collect payment from those customers. So we've got like a new payment account set up. We have to get customer credit cards switched over from the old system to the new system. There's all these little things going on to just transfer this business from the old owner to us. We were not able to keep any of the existing merchant accounts, insurance, any of that stuff. Like we didn't buy the old owner's LLC. We didn't buy her company outright. We bought her assets. It was like an asset sale, an asset purchase. So essentially we have to set all this up for ourselves. So we have employees out there right now cleaning for us who need to get set up on our payroll because technically they no longer work for the company that they worked for last week. That company's gone now, right? They sold their assets to us. Now these employees, they work for our company starting today, and we have to get them set up on our payroll. So we are trying to get a new payroll account set up, trying to get the employees to enter their information so they have direct deposit and all that stuff before we run payroll and have to pay them again in 2 weeks. The time clock on that. We've got liability insurance, which I'll give you the numbers on that. We just set up liability insurance for a house cleaning company in Wisconsin. That's the situation. It's liability only. It's not workers' comp or anything else. And it was $1 million policy, pretty standard, right? We chose 1 million instead of 2 million. I think you could technically do less too, but Simply Business, the company that we went through, they offered us 1 or 2 million. The $1 million policy was $150 a month. There's like a premium that you pay, but then there's like some math behind it for how many employees you have, how much revenue you make. They ask you all those questions. So we had to tell them, how much does this business already make? How many employees do we have? It ended up being $150 a month for the insurance policy to get that started up. I think we had to pay 3 months up front, so $450. But yeah, that was the startup cost on it. And now we got insurance and it should be pretty straightforward. I've bought insurance through this company before and had a lot of luck with it. It's been good. We'll probably get workers' comp set up through the same company we do payroll through. So we normally do payroll through Gusto. They do a great job with workers' comp. This time we might do payroll through Square, and then they also do workers' comp through Square. I like doing it that way, doing the payroll and the workers' comp together, because you can do pay as you go. Square and Gusto both have relationships with insurance companies. They'll set up the policy, fund it, and handle making sure that your payment goes up and down based on how much your payroll is, which is really nice because it saves you when you get these audits, right? If you've ever had a workers' comp audit, or you get one like every single year, you know what a pain that can be. I used to go through that when I had a local agent that sold me my workers' comp policy, but now it's much better from what I understand through Gusto. Kelly.
I feel like we had audits frequently and always had to pay in more until we switched for the carpet cleaning company.
Yeah. So I highly recommend do payroll, workers' comp together all in one. Square and Gusto both make it really easy. That's my plan, just because I don't want to have to deal with huge payments and stuff like that. It makes it hard to plan and have like cash flow and that kind of stuff when you get huge lump sum payments that are due from your insurance company. So we're trying to avoid that. I think other than that, we've got a couple little apps. Oh, the other thing we're trying to deal with, I hate to talk bad about anybody's software, but I do have to say something about this one. And there may be fans of this software out there, but this company is using software called the Customer Factor. You might have heard of it. Kelly and I, we've used House Call Pro for our own companies. We've used Jobber and Mark8 for our clients' companies. We've even worked with some other smaller ones. We've worked with ZenMate. We've seen them all, right? This one is new to us. Service Monster is also pretty big. Customer Factor is not my favorite. It reminds me of Service Monster in a way. And again, I hate to drop any kind of hatred or bad juju on any of these software companies. Don't leave me hateful comments if anybody ever sees or hears this. But the software, just for real, it looks a little bit old compared to something like House Call Pro or Mark8 or Jobber or something. Like when I log into the Customer Factor, it looks like old software that was built 2 decades ago. That doesn't mean it's not usable and it doesn't work. It just strikes me as being much, much older and less slick than like a House Call Pro. So we're trying to work through figuring out how to use this software. It's pretty straightforward. We've got the scheduling figured out. Of course, we're doing recurring house cleaning services. So we've got weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and then some like deep clean one-time appointments, a couple different appointment types, a couple different employees we're dispatching this work out to. And then on top of that, our employees have their own schedules. They don't all work full time. They're only available certain days in some cases. So it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to try to build out the schedule every week. Somebody on my Facebook page just commented about this a minute ago. I was reading it before this call, and they said, I'm really interested to see how you and Kelly manage the house cleaning business, because they've had 2 7-figure janitorial companies, I think he said, in the past. And he knows what a hassle it is dealing with scheduling and employees and customer complaints. He said, you're probably gonna get a lot more customer complaints than you would in other businesses, just because little things, people will complain about little things. And it's just, you'll always be dealing with that. I think those are all valid points. Completely valid points. And he's curious to see how we handle it, if we're going to manage it remotely or how we're going to do this model. I'll share more of that detail as we get started here. It is being managed remotely right now. Obviously, Kelly and I live in the Seattle area. This business is in Wisconsin. That's 2,000 miles away. It's like deja vu. I've literally been in this situation before, managing a cleaning business in Wisconsin from Washington. But here we are again. We are planning to manage it this way for a while. I think realistically, we will run into employee and scheduling issues. That's just reality. A lot of people ask, how are you going to deal with that? It's just, that is the work, right? That is part of the job. There are admin parts to this job. The phone's going to ring, the emails are going to come in, and people are going to ask to reschedule. And we're going to have to move things around. That is literally going to be part of the job. If you've worked in retail before, maybe you're familiar with this, right? If you've been the person scheduling teams of people and you're dealing with a bunch of part-time employees, you know exactly what this is like. I have friends who were retail managers for years. I worked in retail stores when I was in high school and college, and that schedule was a mess, man, trying to figure out how to fit everybody on there and get coverage. So that is the weekly work. It's going to be something that has to be done. How are Kelly and I going to manage that with everything else we have going on? Great question. And I'm really hoping to show more of this off as we get started, but we're actually intending to hire somebody to manage that day-to-day for us from the beginning. We're not going to wait. We were working on the job posting today. We're going to hire somebody to manage scheduling, estimates, answering the phones, talking with employees if there's issues that come up through the day, somebody to handle all of those admin tasks. We are going to hire this person offshore, which I know is a hot topic. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people don't even see how it's possible. But I'm really excited to try it out, especially in this business. This is more like a bonus thing here. We have a couple employees who speak Spanish. They don't speak English. And we're thinking if we can find a bilingual admin person who speaks Spanish and English, then we'll be really cooking with fire here. I don't know. That's where we're at as of today. We're just trying to get handle on everything, making sure we have payroll so that we can, first of all, pay our employees, keep them happy, keep them from leaving. We're trying to handle the couple of customer questions, estimates, that kind of stuff that have come in. We've already scheduled a few people, which has been great. And yeah, just getting a handle on it. We're going to manage this remotely. We're going to manage it and try to grow it remotely. I don't know if we'll keep it remotely forever. We may eventually move closer to the business. Kelly's family lives nearby, so who knows? But that's where we're at today. The other thing the dude said on Facebook was supplies. He felt as though, and this is interesting, he felt like supplies, chemicals, right? That kind of stuff for the house cleaning business will actually be more expensive than what we paid in that carpet cleaning business. I'm not sure I agree with him, but he owned 7-figure janitorial companies. So he might know, maybe that's more from the commercial side of things. From the residential side, I don't know. We've seen the P&L, we've seen the supplies costs. We have an idea of how much it costs to supply this company. I thought it was pretty low. I thought the supply costs were pretty light. And I've also owned a carpet cleaning business. We bought a ton of supplies, a lot of chemicals for that, but our costs were pretty high because I owned a franchise and I had to buy my chemicals through the franchise. That was not an option. We had to buy their chemicals. And I would say they were more expensive than what you can buy from elsewhere. Sometimes like a bottle of just our standard cleaner that we use for everything, a jug of that was twice as much, 3-4 times as much as other options that were out there. So the franchise supplies really got to be expensive after a while. Yeah, Anthony, you know a little about this. What do you think about the supply issue between house cleaning and carpet cleaning?
Depending, like right now, everybody wants eco-friendly, mineral, like all those stuff. It could get expensive, but if you find one product can do almost all, like a neutral cleaner could do everything. And there's a cleaner you can do floors, walls, even glass. I think there's a company out there that actually makes all-in-one product. And if you order from them, they can get you by bulk with a meter dispenser. All they have to do every morning, just fill it. They don't have to measure or anything like that.
That's cool.
But it could be expensive if you're going on the eco-friendly side.
Yeah. I don't think we're doing eco-friendly right now. I think almost all of our products are Amazon and Walmart, which is a little concerning, right? I don't know if that's what I would have chosen, but we're the owners of the business now. We can change that. I've been thinking we might want to go more eco-friendly because I agree. I think a lot of customers are looking for that. I need to get to know our customers better though, because for all I know, our customers are very happy with what we're doing. They wouldn't want any changes, and who knows? We probably want to.
And you don't need gazillion chemicals. Check where you do the most: floors, windows, and restrooms. You don't need a lot of stuff, especially with your industry, since you're going to be going more often to the house. So it shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, but there's a company out there, I'm forgetting the name of it. If you call them and you buy through them, they actually give you the free dispenser, usually about $200 or $300, and self-meter and all that.
That's a good tip. Larry's got another tip about net 30 in here. I like that. So some distributors that will let you do net 30 payments on your chemical orders. That would be nice. It's kind of like a line of credit, right? Yeah. That's cool. I like that. To give you guys a little behind the scenes on how a remote house cleaning business is run, here's how the chemicals are handled right now. The owner orders chemicals from Amazon and ships them to one of the employees' houses. That employee receives those chemicals, brings them to work the next day, and restocks. If there's stuff that we need that we can't get on Amazon, that stuff is ordered from Walmart for a literal Walmart pickup order. And the employee is an authorized person to go do that pickup. They go pick up the stuff from Walmart and go restock it at the office. That's it. Really straightforward. I know, like, the reason I'm telling you guys, it sounds obvious, right? I get questions all the time, like, how do you even get employees to do things for you? Everything is always, I could never get employees to do that. Or how would I run it remote? Or how could I take a vacation? Or how do I not even go into the field and just let my employees do stuff? You got to just let people handle. handle stuff. Like, honestly, like ship it to their house, give them the responsibility, ask them to wash the pads at the end of the day or the towels or whatever.
But to be completely honest about that, this employee also makes a little more money. That is a driver for her as well.
That's a great pro tip. We didn't just dump these responsibilities on the employee. And actually, we didn't make this decision at all. We bought the business. This is how it was set up. But I love how they did it. Personally, I'm cheap. I might have actually just asked an employee to handle the restocking and just made it part of their standard duties. And we did that.
When we owned the carpet cleaning company, one of the standard duties was we were low moisture, so we had pads to wash every night. And that was just one of the duties.
Yeah, on the checklist. They would handle it every single day, wash the pads, wait 30 minutes for them to go through the wash cycle, bring them back, dry them or hang them up to dry at the office. Like, it was just standard part of the job. I probably would have done the same thing here. I would have just said, hey, we're going to ship stuff to one of you, whoever's got the safest address, not going to have a porch pirate steal all our stuff. We'll ship it to you. In this case, the previous owner decided to give this one employee a little pay bump in exchange for managing this. And that seems to be working. So we'll just keep it as is, but that's literally how we're managing it. In our old carpet cleaning business, when I was managing that remotely too, we had a commercial address, or a postal address rather. I would ship stuff to our address. It would arrive, get dumped off on the porch, and we would literally have to risk porch pirates stealing our whole shipment sometimes. And it happened. We had shipments get stolen. And I'm sure those porch pirates opened those boxes. Just, what the hell is this stuff? Carpet cleaning chemicals, enzymes? What is this? So it probably ended up in the trash somewhere. But I would just ship that stuff to the office, and employees would grab it, unbox it, put it on the shelf. Like, they handled all that stuff for me, just to let people step up and be responsible. I think the biggest thing that's working for this business is the employees are very autonomous. They run the show by themselves. They would prefer if we didn't bother them. That's what the old owner just told us yesterday. They would prefer if you didn't bother them throughout the day or throughout the week. They'll text you if they have a problem, but they know how to get to the houses. They know how to handle the customers. They know how to handle complaints. They got it, right? And the reason they like this job is because they have that independence, because they get to go out and handle their business during the day like an adult, clock in, clock out, and be treated like they're responsible adults. They really like that. That kind of independence makes their job feel better to them. Compare that to like working in a warehouse. I see the Amazon trucks 15 times a day. I know those Amazon dudes have got a tough ass job. They're getting watched on their dash cams. They're getting in trouble for singing along to the music on the radio. They're getting timed if they get out of the truck to go drop a package off. If they have to stop to pee somewhere, they're getting grief about that. Like, that job sucks, I bet. But we've got employees that just clock in, go do their work independently, no boss looking over their shoulder. Yeah, they got to deal with customers, but that's most businesses, right? Like, it's customer service. And I think that independence actually makes them more satisfied with the job. So we're going to try to keep that with this business, try to keep that kind of culture as we grow. And then on top of it, we're going to want to add some standards and then some incentives, just so that everybody knows what is the standard as we train new employees, that there will be no bones about it, right? This is what we expect to get done. And it's going to be based on what our current employees have been doing to be successful in the job. That's how we'll create our checklist. That's how we'll create our SOPs and create the standards. And then we'll create incentives to actually get our employees to do the additional things that we want them to do, like receiving orders and restocking the supplies for us, or getting Google reviews, or bringing in new business, that kind of stuff. We'll create some incentive programs over time as we figure out what works for this company. But yeah, like, they're managing it themselves. That's how the remote business is going, is like, you hire people, train them, or just let them do the job they're good at, trust them, and that's it. Things will come up though. You know, obviously we're going to have issues along the way, but that's it. It's just a risk. I know a lot of people are like, they don't know how a remote cleaning business could work. It seems too risky. It seems too scary. It is. It is a little scary. It is a little risky. All business is. This is just a risk that we're willing to step up and take. We've done it before, so we're a little more comfortable with it. But anyone out there who's hearing this right now, like, this is totally possible. If you see a house cleaning business for sale, you could buy it and potentially run it remote the way we have. It's possible.
It's interesting also. So one thing, a trap we fell into with the carpet cleaning business with living in the same city, is if somebody called in sick, Reuben was back in the van. And now that we are 2,000 miles away, we have to handle it differently. So that'll be a good challenge for us.
Yeah. And that is a double-edged sword, because jumping in to fill the seat in the van and to keep the schedule going will help save your revenue for the day. It will help keep your numbers up. It will also help reduce customer complaints about last minute reschedules and that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people, especially business owners, are really nervous about pissing customers off. They don't want to give customers a reason to be like, dude, these guys just cancel at the last minute. They're unserious. I'm just going to call the next company. I get it. But you also have to realize there are companies out there treating customers so much worse than you are. So if you have to reschedule every once in a while because someone got sick, their wisdom teeth taken out and need an extra day to recover, literally happened today on our first day managing this new team. Yeah, like stuff happens and customers will understand to a point. You could keep screwing up over and over. It becomes a pattern and they get tired of it, but things do happen. And we're in a position now, we've owned enough companies and we understand the risk where we can say, okay, somebody called in sick today, or somebody canceled and it screwed up our whole schedule or whatever. Here's what we're going to do. If somebody called in sick, we're just going to reschedule all those jobs. Yeah, we lose the revenue today. Maybe we'll pick it up the next day or the next week. We're just going to reschedule them. That's a decision that we can make to just get through the day of operations, try to keep all the customers happy. If we lose one or two because they're upset, that's the price that we pay. But just that is how we're going to have to manage it. That's reality. I cannot Superman in and try to save the day because I'm not physically there. That sounds bad, right? That sounds like all downsides. Dude, you're just going to lose money. Dude, you're just going to cancel on customers. And dude, this is always going to be a problem. We'll staff up so that we have more flexibility. We can put people in when people cancel. That's one thing we're lacking right now. We don't have backup cleaners. So we will add some backups to help fill those slots. But the bigger thing is that think about how much time I have compared to when I was managing the business, hawking over the schedule every day, checking on customers, stepping in when something goes wrong, going to clean because this guy's sick. Like my employees knew they could rely on me if they needed a day off. So they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to call in today. Reuben will step in and handle it. I'm not there now. I'm here. I'm totally free all day long. I don't have to go clean. I don't have to go in and handle a situation. I might have to get on the phone, right? But I'm going to end up hiring so that I don't have to do any of that either. It gives me this distance between me and the business that's super, super valuable. And until you've experienced it, I don't really know how to describe it. It's going to sound like nothing but privilege. It's going to make me sound like a total jerk. But I hope that if you haven't experienced this yet, you get to experience it. Having a turnkey business where you don't have to show up every day for it to not only make money, but grow is an incredible feeling. To be able to go take a vacation, to go sit on a cruise somewhere, and you come back the next week and your company made money, handled customer complaints when they came up, and maybe even signed up a new customer or two. Incredible feeling, right? It's awesome. It actually creates this kind of 10,000 foot view of your business because you're not stuck in the day-to-day. You can see the forest instead of being stuck in the trees, right? So if you want to make big changes to the business, pull the big levers and try to grow the business in a bigger way, you're in a better position to do that because you're not stuck in the day-to-day dealing with the daily punches, right? The daily gut punches. It's nice. You get to sit back and go, okay, strategically, here's what I want to do with the business. Here's what I want to do with the employees. Here's where we're going direction-wise. And then you put people in place and you can delegate that stuff to them and oversee the process, but without having to be involved in every single thing that comes up. It's amazing. I really hope that you get to the point with your business where you can run it that way. Because when you do, it's going to be super valuable to you. You're going to have tons of peace of mind. You're also going to have an incredibly valuable asset. And that is the day that somebody will pay the most premium price for your business. If it's turnkey and growing, and you have documentation of it growing for the last 2 or 3 years, or at least being profitable for the last 2 or 3 years, you have a very sellable business. That's why I get really excited when we get to the point where it's turnkey. That is the point where it becomes like its own entity. It's rolling on its own, right? It has momentum. It's almost scary. Some days you can step back and you're like, how is this business growing without me doing that thing? I used to have to do this thing to make it grow, and now I don't have to. Somebody else does that. But it's also really powerful. Maybe there's a lesson in there. It's definitely worth investing in making your business turnkey, giving your employees responsibilities and stepping back out of the way, not jumping in to be Superman to save everything. Let them handle it, right? Let them handle it. Okay, what's going on? Any other questions? Anything else going on? Anyone want to talk about anything in particular? We've got baseball tonight, smart kid class, all this stuff going on. It's getting busy here. We're nearing the end of the year. School concerts coming up, graduation, all that. Anthony, what's going on?
Since you asked if you have any questions.
Yeah, please.
I may have two, but one of them is when I send someone a text or when I put a post on Facebook, I usually put Anthony Velasquez, phone number, KingswayIdaho.com, right?
Yep.
So when they load it, they get Kingsway, Idaho logo, but they also get a #1 carpet cleaner in Nampa, like that on the sub. So if I'm trying to expand, is it better if we remove the Nampa and just put like Boise, Treasure Valley, like, or something like that? Am I making sense?
You are. Yeah. So you're talking about what keywords to use when you're posting on social media, or you could also do this on GBP, on your Google profile posts. You could also do it on YouTube if you were posting short videos. But do you say #1 carpet cleaner in Nampa in everything, or do you start to switch it up and add more areas?
No, it automatically populate it. When you guys build everything, doing everything, that's when I know it start coming up. I can't share it. I have it here, but I wish I know how to share it.
I'm not 100% sure if I'm understanding them.
I'm going to see if you guys can see this.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what you're showing me is called the preview image, the preview text, and then there's a social preview as well. So when we build a website page, on that page, it asks us, when you share this page with somebody by email or text or something, we might put a little preview of the page. We might show an image and a headline. We can change that text. It also will ask if we share on Facebook or Twitter, what do you want it to look like? And we can change that text. On yours, we have it set for Nampa because that's your literal location. We wanted to make sure you had sent your strongest ranking signals for that area. If you're wanting to expand outside of there, I would add those cities in other places on your website. Like in the service area section, we have a whole map listing out every single city that you serve. We could start to build out, like you could start building out location pages for each one of those cities, but you got to be careful doing that because if you just make the same duplicate page and use the same images over and over, they end up not getting ranked on Google and they're not really worth much. But like you want to use those keywords in other spots on your website. If we change that text that you just showed me in the preview, it might have SEO implications. So if we changed it to say #1 in Boise, #1 in wherever, then that might impact how your website ranks in Nampa. It might also impact it in Boise, but there's a potential trade-off there. So why don't you let us know what you were thinking you'd wanted to say or which areas you want to expand into, and we could come up with more of a plan for how we would do that for you, and we'll try to work together to get it done.
Yeah, I'll send you an email. So last week I sent an email to check the market and I got a reply and I'll have a ton of questions. So I'll set up either a meeting or I'll send those 100 gazillion questions that you guys can answer.
Cool.
There's a little city here called Fruitland. And I just did a quick Google search in that area. And there's only like maybe 4, if I remember right. And out of the 4, one of them is closed.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. So
yeah,
to get to rank in those areas can be a little tricky. It can be done. I'll tell you the absolute easiest way to do it is also the one that most people don't want to do. We don't even like doing it. It's a pain in the ass. It's to straight up create another Google business profile, but you have to lease a real office, not a virtual office, not a PO box, none of those games. We've tried them all. Kelly and I have both tried all of them, even recently. We still keep trying them just to see if they work. USPS store is not working, by the way, or UPS store rather. You got to get a real office, like a one-man office, and then verify another GBP, another Google profile in that area. To make that really stick, you also have to file an LLC in your state to that address and with that business name, so that when Google goes and looks on the state registry, they see that name and business registered to that address. They see your profile there and you have an address, office with a lease on it. And then they're like, all right, cool, you get this GBP. That's how some service businesses are literally spinning up GBPs all over the place and just dominating with organic. It takes some investment and there's no guarantee it will pay off. You could create a new office, get all that stuff set up and have no SEO impact whatsoever. For carpet cleaners, I don't usually recommend this method unless they're literally trying to go conquest a new market. Like you're in Cincinnati and you want to go start a business in Louisville or Cleveland, which is a couple hours away. If you're just trying to do multiple offices within your current service radius, may not be worth the investment. Could be, but maybe not. So I really think about it. That's the best way to legitimately dominate that area on search. You could also try just creating a location page on your existing website. You could have Fruitland carpet cleaning as a page on your site. You talk all about carpet cleaning jobs in Fruitland that you've done. You show pictures of them or video. You could also make a video, a short is what I'd recommend. Go clean a house in that area, then get out your phone, record a video in front of it or show the carpet in the house or something and say, hey, we're cleaning carpets at a house here in Fruitland, Idaho, and this customer's got 3 rooms and some pet stains. I'll show you the before and after, whatever you want to say in the video, a very short video. Or you could just say, we're cleaning carpets here in Fruitland, Idaho. If you need carpet cleaning, we also offer pet treatment. Give us a call at this number. We serve this area. But just put those cities in the short video, post that to your YouTube. And then if you made a location page on your website, you could put that video on the location page. You could also post the video on your GBP. That would give you a little bit of a local boost in that area. It should send a local signal that you serve that area. It might help you rank a little bit higher. But other than that, it's like run ads. You can pay to show up there, or you can go through the effort to try to organically show up there.
But if I increase my budget in that area, it could potentially work.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I can do that then.
Okay. We could also do budget, what's called a bid modifier. So if we want to make sure that city is prioritized, we could place a bid modifier on that city and tell Google we're willing to pay a little bit more per click in this city if you send us more traffic from there. And sometimes that will help drive some more leads from it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. What's going on, Marcus? Good to see you, buddy. Okay. All right. What else do we have? Any other questions? I know you just joined, so I don't want you to, we've talked a little bit here, but if you got questions, happy to go over them now. Hang on, you're on mute. I don't think I can unmute you. I don't know. I'll give you a second. Spencer, how you doing, man?
Great. Busy.
Nice. Glad to hear it.
Way busy. We've got actually a rug cleaning class this weekend. We're heading up to Omaha for, and just purchased a rug drying rack last night. So that'll be here in a couple weeks.
New?
Yeah, new from Orbitech.
Cool. That's pretty awesome.
I never
had
have it.
Yeah, I never had one of those. I've flat dried a lot of my rugs, and some of them shouldn't have been dried like that.
Yeah, we're at that point. I've just got rugs laying on top of vans over the spinner.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll run out of real estate real quick.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Good problems to have.
Yep.
Anything I can help with? Marcus, I don't know. It's stuck on mute, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know, man. That sucks. I'm sorry, dude. I'm really happy to see you here too. And yeah, can't even unmute you. Normally it gives me a button I can click, but it won't let me do it. That's weird. Okay. Unless we have anything else, I think we probably could wrap it up there. Yeah, next time for sure. We'll be doing this next Monday, definitely. And then just text me if you need anything. But I don't know if you catch the recording from this video, we mostly talked about Kelly and I bought a house cleaning business last week. So we're just getting started with that. We shared how we're managing employees and stuff. That's all you missed today. Yeah. Cool. All right. Then if nothing else, we can leave it there. If you have questions, reach out to us. We are available. And I don't know, go buy a house cleaning business or something. Get crazy this year. I don't know. Take a big risk. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.